Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Tandal Wars. We're playing the Western Entente, and we're fighting the Central Powers. And this is late June 1916. And we're going to take a look at the first battle of the last turn, or the big battle, one of the big battles of the last turn. And we got some national morale out of this battle. And then there's going to be a second battle of Duisburg. We didn't capture it yet, but Lord Kitchener is going to capture it pretty quickly because the power of the unit inside Duisburg is 37. They don't have any walls to speak of, so it should be captured pretty quickly. When we go after the next turn, our morale is 80. Central Powers morale is 72, which is, I can't remember if it's worse or better than the last turn, but it's still better than it was at a couple of times during the last few episodes. This is Northern Germany that we're looking at. We've moved into Essen. We've moved into Dusseldorf. We had a victory in Baden, and then that was the second. That was the second battle of Duisburg. And then these are just going to be air battles right here. So we've pretty much captured Duisburg. We just have to. It's all over but the shouting. Here in Italy, we had that disaster where they made a breakthrough, but it looks like they've pulled back, and I don't know why they would have, because they had a pretty good breakthrough there, and we were just trying to get back some semblance of a battle line, or so that we could keep them out. And so they seem to have just backed off. I don't know if it's because they're pulling troops out to go back up to the German border, but we are still in good shape in Italy. We've pretty much cordoned off every area so that they can't get through without a fight, and even that territory they'd have to come across a river to attack our troops. So we're in good situation in Treviso. What else is going on? In Trento, Germany has a lot of units, but I think they pull those units out. Right here, we're just moving troops up that we've built recently so that we can fill out some of our formations. Some of them, like this one, is full, completely full, too full, really. It's 2% over its command limits, but I've kind of just let 2% situations go and just left them that way. I'm right here. I'm just trying to figure out where all their troops went. Maybe they're in Trento. I don't know, because they had a lot of troops in northeast Italy. So we're not doing too bad here, even though they did have that big breakthrough, and we lost all the ground we had really captured, except Bozen. There, we still have some people in Bozen, and but other than that, we lost all the ground that we had taken from Austria. So right now, I'm just moving troops up to Bozen to try to make sure that we keep Bozen and they don't get a foothold in Bozen, because it is a true fortress. And Trento's a true fortress too. And see how much power. Well, they don't. It doesn't look like they have a lot of power in there, but I think if I could see some of it, all of it, I think that they would have a lot of troops there. But in actuality, they might not have that many troops. This might be like all supply type units. So that would be a big capture if we could capture Trento. Now we're looking down at Friedrichshafen and Ravensburg. Charles Landrezac is he's got a pretty good formation for us, but they have a pretty strong formation opposing us. Then in Stuttgart, Looks like they have 900 power formation inside, or not inside Stuttgart, but in their region. So I'm not going to be attacking them anytime soon. Then they have a supply unit just sitting out there all by itself. So we want to start pushing further east. I can't really tell what city that was, but they still have some troops inside that city. So we're going to move Edward de Castle now up one region. So we're making headway. We're moving. We're moving east gradually, steadily. Let's see what we want to build here. We want to build some support type units that will help strengthen. Oh, maybe we want to build supply units, because I know I was talking about building supply units at one point. So I think right here we're going to build about 10 to 12 maybe supply units, supply trains. And I was doing that because I wanted to start building some depots as we move across Germany, because they are destroying some of their depots in their cities before we actually capture the city. So we have to kind of build up the depots along our line of attack so that we can get proper supply and ammunition to the right units. Let's see. That's Mannheim, I think. And Mannheim is not taken yet. Okay, so we decided to hold Castelnau back. We could be. This is Victor D'Urbal. He doesn't have an army, but he is a fairly strong unit. But it looks kind of free of units in front of us, so we should be pushing forward as much as possible here. We captured Frankfurt at some point. I don't know if we captured it on the last turn, but we did capture it. Probably not the last turn. Probably the turn before, or maybe 2 turns ago. But we did capture Frankfurt, which is a pretty big capital. Or not big capital, but a pretty big city. This unit has a 5% command penalty rating. Its commander is Edmund G. Barrow. Oh, and we're filling out some of his. We're filling out Haig's little unit. Oh, no, I apologize. I think we promoted Haig, and then we built up his unit, and then we put it back into the British Expeditionary Force. He's the 1st Corps right there. This is just your normal moving troops around to get the command penalties away from your units. Make sure everybody has enough generals in their units. We're looking at Dortmund right now. We've got a pretty strong little line of units right there from Dusseldorf to Essen to. Honestly, I don't know what the top one was, but we have the main headquarters of the French army up there, Joffre. So we're going to attack, it looks like. Oh, but he's not active, so I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but we'll do it anyway. Maybe I rethink it before the turn's over. And then we're going to move Roofy down. I thought we were. Yeah, we're moving Riffy down to attack that supply train from Germany. And then, of course, we moved Castle now to go into the next region, east. I tend to do that. I tend to try to rethink things, and sometimes I'll change what I think I'm doing or change what I am doing, and then I'll go back and rethink it again, and then change it back to what I first decided to do, which is what it looks like here. It looks like I've canceled the inactive formation from moving forward to Dortmund, because that inactive units don't really fight very well. We have a lot of. We capture a lot of these units, munitions units, and things like that when we capture a city. And I don't put them. I don't put them in a fighting formation. I don't think munitions need to move. Oh, I'm realizing that Strasbourg was never captured, or if it was captured, we left it unattended, and they moved some units in and retook it. I'm not really sure exactly how we overlooked that. Maybe we never captured it. I'm not positive, but we're moving some troops in there to try to capture it and keep enemy units from behind our line. We don't want them moving around behind our line, so looks like we're almost ready to process another turn. I'm trying to decide what to do here. Do I want to move up my fighting force? Do we want to move Joffrey up? I wonder why Joffrey's name is flashing. Can I actually promote him to a 4-star general? Okay, so we're moving up an active unit into wherever that was. I can't remember the name of the city up there that we're attacking, but we're moving an actual active unit. Quick look at Africa. Their Leto von Leto Vorbeck is a good commander. I just don't see the reason to attack them, so I've just left it there. I have some pretty good formations, and then of course over here in the Persian Gulf, we still have a couple of formations. I don't know why I keep doing that. Keep trying to move them up. These guys keep running circles around me. And then in Egypt, we're still trying to get Lawrence, T.E. Lawrence, out of Riyadh down to Medina. Looks like he's taking him 36 more days. I don't like that, but there's no way I can cut up his journey into turn-sized moves. 14 days, 15 days. Here I'm just looking at some of the units. Do I want to retake Tunisia? It's not really worth a lot of points, if any points. So I don't really care about Tunisia that much. But, it's almost like a distraction for me to try to take Tunisia. Now I'm just looking up at Northern Germany again, just looking at it, just trying to see. Kitchener is still on assault. He's going to assault Duisburg this next turn. Oh, we've enabled division command for that general and attach units to him. I don't think generals get experience if they don't have units attached to them, but I'm not positive about that. I keep going back to him. I'm not really sure why I keep going back to him, but I do keep going back to him. Now we're going to take a look at our diplomatic efforts with the United States. It's 73% entente, and now we're processing a turn. And this takes a little time. It honestly, it goes a lot slower in some of the later turns that I've recorded, and I don't know if it's because less units are on the board or what's going on, but it does go a lot quicker in the last couple of turns I recorded. Okay, Dortmund. So we're going to attack Dortmund this turn, and we're going to attack them. I think that's Minori. Oh, no, that's Saral. Saral is moving up from Dusseldorf to attack Dortmund, and he's active, so I'm not sure if that'll work or not, but, we do have a better, we outnumber them if you count Joffrey up there, who I think I made active. I think he's on offensive. The guy that's inactive in the middle that doesn't even have a picture at Essen, I don't know if he would support any units in Dortmund. I don't know if they're inactive if they march to the sound of guns, which is march to the sound of guns is something that the Asia games think very deeply about, because it says that troops who know a battle is going on, they'll automatically move a region over to support whatever unit's attacking. It's all related to the interlocking units that for support. So like if you have a line across the front where a unit's in almost every region, you're going to have a lot of units supporting other units, and I think that is a big concept in these games. That I don't think it works in some of the older. When I say older, I mean like 1600s. This is 1700. Listen to me. I'm thinking this is Rise of Prussia. This is the 1900s. So in the 1900s, yes, March to the Sound of Guns was a thing, and I think in the 1800s that was true as well. And because the American Civil War, their game, the American Civil War, has units marching to the sound of guns. And then, but then back in the 1700s, I don't know if their games have that as much. I will say Rise of Prussia, they will march to the sound of guns. If I'm not sure if they march to the sound of guns in Wars in America. So this turn is finally moving. It's going pretty quick. And I apologize that I have to record. So you're probably getting all this down here, which clutters up the screen. But I apologize that I have to re-record the audio over the turn. It's not as fluid. I don't remember anything of what I said while I was doing this, so it's not like I can take it from memory and just repeat everything I said, because I don't think, unless you have a photographic memory, I don't think anybody can remember exactly what they said on any given recording that, 8 recordings ago. I know I can't. So I'm really, it's just like you have to re-record. I mean, you literally have to re-record the turn and then process it and see how it works. But I was trying to decide, should I just post them without audio? But I think some people do want to hear some of the strategy that I'm thinking, some of the things I'm thinking when I'm doing movements, some of the things that, like the moving units around and changing formations and things like that. I'm not saying I'm an expert at building formations, but I at least understand the whole concept of not being over your command limit, which is very important. Although I think I have one unit that is way over its command unit. I think it might be in Trier, trying to regain some cohesion after it took a beating in that forest right above, or right to the east of Dusseldorf. That unit took a beating in that region, and it might be because of the over the limit command penalty. It's got a lot of units in the stack, so it has a pretty good power rating, but I don't know that it's that good of an attacking force because of the command penalty. We're just about to get the turn. Okay. So see, they still are moving some units in and around northeast Italy. This is us taking Duisburg. This is in Italy somewhere. I can't really see. We won that pretty well, pretty easily. Did I lose the sound? It looks like I lost the sound inside the game as well. That's crazy. It was recording my clicks, but I guess it's not recording the sound of the game. That's Dortmund. So the inactive unit did go to help him out because he's not in Essen. That's okay win. 42,000 to 68,000. That's not bad. Really, 69,000. That's not a bad victory. We pushed them out of Dortmund, but we're besieging Dortmund. We pushed them out of the region, but we're besieging the city. Um, we almost had a naval encounter there. Sounds up. Everything should be working. We captured that supply train, I believe. This is the Middle East. They were showing Turkey movements. This is Northern Germany again. And that was a British defeat. Not too good. This is Roofy. One thing this will do is make me remember these guys' names a lot better. That was a pretty good win, 11,000 to 25,000 in Hanau. As you can see, they've captured, or they're trying to capture Riyadh. They still have some units near Italy's border. That's the end of the turn. Day 15. We'll see. So look at our national morale went up 2 points. We lost 1 for war weariness, but gained 3 from battles, and they're down to 68. So that is a good turn all in all for us. Very good turn. Gibraltar. I'm trying to see. Oh, okay. That's our fleet. That's our main British fleet that we kept talking about moving. We want to bring them up. I think we're taking them to Marseille. That's only 8 days, so we might move them farther. Yeah, Genoa, 11 days. So let's see. Not much going on that screen, although it does say that the United States has moved even further. 76% to Entente. We made a breach in Mannheim. Central Powers are besieging Festung something, but I think that's in Italy. So Strasbourg has over 800 power inside the fort. That's not ideal because it's behind the enemy lines, or behind our lines actually. I guess they would call it behind enemy lines. We don't want that force getting outside of that city. Yeah, see, we captured one of their supply wagons, and then we're going to put one of our tank units inside Castle now, and then that supply unit as well. This is Gallieni. Mannheim. Is it Mannheim? Karlsruhe. We haven't captured Karlsruhe either. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. And they have 4 units inside the city of Karlsruhe. So I think we're going to move Gallieni down. No. I think we decided against that because it would take more than 2 turns. All these French generals look the same, but that's Foch. That's because I hadn't realized yet that I can make an army out of Foch. But I just didn't. I didn't split the units away from him that like I'm supposed to before trying to make him an army, and that's why it wouldn't let me make an army out of him. But I figured that out eventually. So Duisburg is captured. We're gonna move Lord Kitchener up. Takes the full 15 days to move across the river, even though there's a road and bridge. But yeah, we don't want him inside Duisburg. We might let him rest a little bit. I'm trying to decide whether to move any other units up. He's active, and the other unit is not active. Oh, my sound just completely conked out on this. this video. I don't know what was going on. I didn't change any of the settings. They just changed on their own. I wonder if there is something I did that changed them accidentally and I didn't realize it. Okay, this guy is, that's John D. French. He's inactive. This corps is inactive. The British Expeditionary Force is not, well, they're active, not inactive. They're active. We captured Hanau, the region of Hanau. We control it. Castle now is active, so we're going to move him up to take on that one unit. I think it's just one unit. And then I think we were looking at Wurzburg for some reason. Stuttgart. I have a friend that lived in Stuttgart for a while. His dad was in the military. That was when it was West Germany. Now it's just full Germany again. That's a super heavy artillery unit, I think. No, that says medium. Never mind. I know I built some super heavy at some point, though. Artillery is very important to take some of these fortresses. I know a lot of the cities don't have any walls, but when you run into one with a real fortress, then you're in trouble. So we won a national morale point for one of the Italian victories, and then we won 2 in region Hanau for that victory. Roofie. Am I saying that right? Roofie? Sounds like the date drug. Yeah, we're starting to lose airplanes in our recon missions, but I get that. I think I get that changed around. I think I needed to just build newer units. Yeah, we gained control of Duisburg. Um, Victor D'Urbal has been congratulated. We can promote him. So I think we do promote him. And I always get that. I get that message a lot for Leon Durand. I don't even know where Leon Durand is. He might not even be on the board. But we're going to promote Victor D'Urbal. We're still way behind on victory points because we keep promoting generals ahead of people like Leon Durand. Okay, Julian H.G. Bing is promotable. So we're going to go ahead and do that as well. And it will anger Horace Smith Dorian. As long as I don't lose morale, national morale for promoting a general, I'm going to do it. The benefits outweigh the bad effects. They outweigh the loss of victory points. That's what I've been losing. That's all I've been losing is victory points. And like I've said so many times, this isn't a game that you look at victory points, or you probably shouldn't. Your goal is to capture the capital city of the opposing force, and that causes, from what I remember, a sudden victory. Um, every time I've ever done it, it's caused a sudden victory. Like the one of my first playthroughs that I did for Rise of Prussia, I captured Vienna. And that was the end of the game. I won the game. And then in American Civil War, I captured Richmond, and that was the end of the game there as well. So I'm pretty sure that when you capture the capital city, the other side basically collapses. So this is Michael Joseph Moore something or other. I don't remember his last name. I want to say Minori, but I don't think it's Minori. He could use. Oh, we're promoting that guy. That's why. So we had two generals that we could promote, and we're promoting them. I wish Allenby would get promoted. He is a really good general. Look at all the extra abilities that he has. He's a fast mover too, and he can command multinational units or formations. I don't know what I'm doing here. Am I trying to? I don't know if I was trying to build British troops. Or maybe French troops. I think I am trying to build British troops. Oh, here we go. We do have some British troops we can build. Anzac is Australia, I think. I'm pretty sure. It signifies Australia, or the Australian region. I just build up. I think I built out all of the last troops that can be built on the island of England. And then we have some French troops we can build. That's in Scotland. This is Ireland. We can't move that unit with those troop transports because it's too big. It weighs too much. It was that unit was that like force was a weight of 17, and the troop transport was only 8. Could only carry a weight of 8. Now we're moving up these tanks, British tanks. $26 to get there, but I'm not as worried about naval units taking more than one. Well, I guess I am, but I still, it still holds true. I'm not as worried about naval units taking more than one turn, but obviously every now and then I still think about breaking up a trip. That guy's got a lot of abilities too. Manila, Gibraltar. Okay, it looks like we're about to run a turn. Okay, so I switched those guys' positions. I moved one, as you can see, I wanted Lanrezac in up a little bit more north. Not that I think it made that much of a difference because I really didn't do anything. Yeah, that's what I'm doing there. Now I go down and make sure I've looked over Italy. I think the Italian generals are not rated very high. I don't think I've looked at their strategic, offensive, and defensive ratings, but I'm pretty sure that the Italian generals don't have good ratings in this game. I don't know anything about Italian generals in World War One in real life. So if they're, if you look at it and say, well, that general was actually a lot better than what the game portrays, I have no clue. I don't have any idea what is what. I've never heard of any of these guys, to be honest. So if you think they're doing an Italian general injustice, I mean, you can tell me, but there's not much I can do about it. And I'm not really making a judgment one way or another. I did see a video, though, on YouTube that was titled "Why Were the Italian Generals So Bad during World War One?" Or maybe it was World War Two. But in one of those wars, whoever this was did a video of how bad they were, and as you can see, I'm moving into Oderzo. The Central Powers have left Oderzo, so I'm moving some units into Oderzo to take it back. So they got about 870 power inside Dortmund, and we're processing a turn. How much time do we have? We have 26 minutes left in this video, which is about right. I have an alarm on my clock to go off, and I think it's going to go off. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I said it actually. So I won't have an alarm go off. This is Saturday morning. This is when I do my laundry, and I like to time my laundry so I go in there as soon as possible and get it from the washer to the dryer. So I usually time it, but because I'm doing this, I'm not timing it because I don't want the alarm going off and disturbing this recording. Everything looks like it's going well. We're finally starting to push Germany back, and national morale is starting to the void, or the gap between our national morale and Germany's national morale, or Central Powers national morale, is getting larger, and we're in the best shape. We're the higher number, and it looks like their numbers are going down quicker than ours, which is a good thing. Which is heartening to make sure that they lose eventually. And sudden death is if they go below 5 national morale. And it's possible before I capture Berlin that their national morale will be less than 5. It's very possible. I've won games like that. They have some events that will lower their national morale, and we do too. But for some reason, I don't think it affects us as much, or well, it those events don't fire off as much as the events in the Central Powers that cost them national morale. We we also have a unit in Cologne. I think it's Cologne or Kelna. I don't know if that's Cologne. I think it's Cologne. But I think it's just a small. Oh, wait a minute. That might be Dusseldorf that it's in. Yeah, I think it's in Dusseldorf. You can tell by the TAM 1 out beside it. It's covering up the flag over Cologne. Actually, I could. Is it not moving? It's not moving. Why is it not going? Oh, I think I might have. Oh. This is another problem that we have, or I have. I guess you do too if you're watching this video, but sometimes this recorder locks up. Come on, media player. I messed it up. And we're back. That turn took forever. And I'm sorry that, well, I'm not sorry because it's not my fault, but To End All Wars sometimes does have very long processing terms. And I'm cutting that out of the video, but that was 10 minutes. I didn't realize it was that long when I was recording it the first time, but 10 minutes to process. That's the worst it is, and it actually gets better. So that we're processing the turn right now. Not much going on, it seems like. And they're mowing the lawns outside too. So you got that. In the sound in this episode, the sound from the game itself stopped at 7 minutes in. I don't know why. I don't. Did I hit something? I don't know. But the sound from the game, like the sounds of gunfire and things like that, and the sound of moving stuff, it's completely outside of the game. The game completely dropped sound. I don't know why. So I'm hoping the rest of them are not that bad, but something went on with my settings during this video when I was recording it the first time. So this is crazy that it's doing that, but it's the recording. I don't think it's the game. I think it's the recording. And for some reason, my settings went haywire. About 8,500 to 20,000. Not bad. Battle of Spizart. So not much went on. Well, what is this? Is this Trento? No, Veneto. Vittorio Veneto. And then, of course, Greece, which I forget about every single time. But we'll have a few minutes to kind of go over. We lost one national morale from war weariness. Not sure what I'm trying to look at here. But I remember that my fleet is here somewhere. It's in Marseille, I think. Or no, it's in Geneva. No, it's I fleet. Not really sure what I'm doing here. Just checking, I guess, what all units I have in Marseille and Toulon. Is that Toulouse? Or is it? There's our fleet. And I think I have it on naval interdiction. The little square down there under orders where there's a red barrier. I think that's naval interdiction. Yeah, I think I just keyed over it. Oscar von Houtier. Looks like he gives plus 75 infantry tactics to the Central Powers. He looks like people credited him with the stormtroop tactics, but he didn't invent it, but he did use it. And we can advance artillery research, which we do. We have a decent amount of funds and 3674 in funds. 3 days for him to get He's been moving for 3 turns, I think. His cohesion is horrible. We were scrolling over Aqaba in World War One. The Arabian forces did take Aqaba while being led by T.E. Lawrence of Arabia. What am I doing here? Oh, okay. Create HQ, right? We made him into an army. Now we're going to have to build Kitchener's force back up and Bing's force. So that's another thing we have to think about. So we moved them up to Wiesel. And then we moved that formation to Wiesel so that we can combine them with one of them. Dortmund's defenses are completely gone. Not that they had any walls. Strasbourg is still in enemy hands. I think that was that medium artillery that we had. It puts him 2% over his command limit. This is all just shuffling troops around. A lot of the game is shuffling troops around, but you kind of have to do that because the enemy is changing where their forces are, so you have to kind of shuffle them around and put your forces where you need to have them. I do like to go by the old saying of hit them where they aren't, but sometimes you have to have at least some kind of opposing force if the enemy has something threatening. I still haven't figured out that I could make an army commander of Foch. He it says Army of F Foch, but it's not an army, it's a corps in actuality. And I have to take divisional command from Foch to make him an army commander, because as long as he has troops directly attached to him, he can't be an army commander. And that was the problem that I was running into and didn't realize it at the time. I think that's true of another French general as well, that I was, since I had already decided that I couldn't make any more armies, I had 2 French generals sitting around that could be army commanders, and I just didn't realize how to enable that. It's these things you forget. I want those tanks. I want those tanks in one in each formation. I think we could have attacked that, maybe if they were both active. But you end up losing a lot of men. We lost 11 planes on that over Trento. So we went from making them lose a lot of planes to us losing a lot of planes. And I think it's because we just didn't keep our numbers up or something, or build enough units to take them on. I think I'm trying to decide whether I want to attack these units, because both of them have question marks, and it's like we don't have any intel on them, on how big they are, how powerful their units are. But I feel like at this point I realize that they didn't have a lot of power in those, in Trento and in the region directly southeast to it. I can't see it. Estago? Yeah. So let me just see how many. We got 4 minutes left in the actual video. And then I'll stop the. I'll talk a little bit. I might talk a little bit after the video's over, because I know that we're cutting 10 minutes out of this video anyway from that term processing. I want to move that unit back up to where they were. I had kind of gone at Innsbruck with that formation before, and then I pulled everything back when they made their breakthrough in Italy, when the Central Powers had broken through in Italy. I pulled everything back and lost a lot of ground that I gained. But this is where I think I'm discussing whether I should dismiss this army commander, because his stats are horrible. 4 is a good defensive, but 2 strategic and 0 offensive. That's very bad. And this guy's a 2-1-1, and I think I'm kind of discussing whether I should get rid of all of these guys, because most of them are pretty bad. He's not bad, and Joffrey, the head commander of the French, isn't bad, but 2-1-2 is bad. But I think I really don't have the generals to. I think what I was talking about was replacing one of these with Foch and Minori, I think. And this was before I realized I could make armies for Foch and Minori and still keep these armies as well. And so I was talking about getting rid of the commanders here and replacing them with better commanders, but instead I just built whole new armies. That's the unit that got killed in that forest up there, and I had taken it back to regain its power. But look at it's 50% over the command limit, because it's not an army. It's just 3 generals commanding a bunch of units. I don't think they fight very well in that way, with that kind of a bad command penalty. So that was another thing, is getting those units. And I think I was moving it up to fill out Kitchener and Bing's 2 armies. Is that a super heavy battle? I mean, artillery unit? It looks like it. Super heavy artillery units can only go by rail, and I think by boat as well. You can load them on the boats, but once they're on land, they can only follow rail ways, and that's kind of thrown a wrench into my plans in a couple of turns in the past. That fleet is taking its time getting to Plymouth, and I'm saving it So I was probably closing the video down here, telling everybody thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications. And other than that, I will see you next time. And thank you very much. That's what I'm saying now.